Om Shanti, greetings of peace to each and everyone. Thank you so much, Margaret, for that lovely welcome and introduction. And yes, we go way back from my first trip to Madhaban. You were there, so we have a deep spiritual family experience on many levels. And yes, it's my privilege to share, and there will be opportunities for dialogue with yourselves as well on this very powerful topic. It's more than a topic, though, isn't it? When speaking about love, and love I observe in what I describe as the old world language and world culture at times of blame, attack, judgment, and criticism. And biggest critic on the planet can be first myself and then pointing a finger to blame others, be it in the family, neighbors, friends, the boss, the weather, the politicians. That's the old game. That's what all of us human beings at this time on the planet have been socialized to believe is the way to live. However, that's not who we really are. We are the pure energy, spiritual energy, eternal quality of love. So let's take a moment to reflect and go within and ask yourself, what does love mean for you? How do you describe love? And you may have your notebook near you, some colored pencils, because at times it's useful to jot down different thoughts that come that you can reflect on later. So let's take a collective minute of silence. Thank you. So each of you will have your definition of love. And for me, it is that pure energy. It's not Bollywood, Hollywood, Valentine's, love me today, gone tomorrow. It encompasses so many other spiritual qualities of gentleness, kindness, generosity, caring, sharing, deep, open heart, open mind listening, first to self, and then holding that sacred space for others. Lakshmi is saying, love uplifts me and others. Beautiful. And if anyone else would like to add in the chat, that would be beautiful as well. So it's important for me to recognize that this is who I truly am. However, each of us on this journey of life, on this spiritual journey, will at times have experienced pain, sorrow, and fear that blocks the spiritual heart of who I truly am as an eternal spiritual being. Love is my breath. Love is unconditional. Thank you. And Susan said, inspiring. Oh, it's going so quick. That what was Susan saying there? Inspiring, power, trusting allows courage to manifest. Yes, thank you for that. From the old traditional word for courage is love, that energy of love. And we are going to explore both how can I nurture and nourish and sustain this pure quality of unconditional love, all those different aspects that we have shared and more. When that fear comes, and that we will look at what is fear. And so I'd like to share screen for a moment and share some thoughts. Another is love is always thinking and acting in a way that is best for the beloved and not only the self. So a lot of wisdom is being shared, and I thank you for that. And I'd just like to run through a couple of slides on the transformative power of love. So unconditional love means it's about learning to love myself with whatever weaknesses I have, that I can be gentle with myself, understanding with myself. Pure love is stronger than fear and is essential at this critical time for the whole of humanity. For when I talk about the old socializing way of world culture, world language that I observe, that I can get trapped in when I forget who I truly am, or humanity gets trapped into that fear, judgment of self, judgment of others. It's now about creating and bringing out more of these spiritual qualities that belong to each of us. And for a moment, this image, I think, really epitomizes the whole of humanity is a whole world spiritual family with all our shapes, our colors, our races, our gender, pigmentation of skin. That's the external, sorry, it's moved up more. That's the costume of who we are inside, are all these amazing spiritual qualities that include peace and also access to wisdom and eternal truth. And that's the world that each of us really want to live in, a world of connectedness. What connects me to myself? What connects me to others? So maybe write that question down and leave space for the answers as they flow. And also write down what blocks me, what separates me from myself, what separates me from others. And what I find is really helpful is to use the language of authentic communication, which is the opposite of the language of blame. So authentic communication has many meanings, and I'm sharing a few with you, and then you can add some more and put them in the chat as well. So it's listening to your spiritual heart with attention. So the ears that are trained to listen to external sounds, noises, other people's opinions, judgments, it's learning how to listen within. Access that quiet space within yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be true to self. It's so important to be honest. I find that if I pretend that I'm okay, I then am covering up where maybe there is some imbalance within me. Maybe some sorrow is coming up. So I am learning to be my best friend and listen to both when joy flows through me, also to listen when there is some distress. For with inner wisdom, I can actually, by listening to myself, listen to maybe what the old negative belief is, the old negative story that I'm still holding on to, that traps me in the prison of fear and judgment. And by listening to myself, underneath that will be the truth. Another part of authentic communication is speak when moved to speak. So often in life, I was socialized that fill the empty spaces, speak, keep talking. But that was really a fear of what will people think if I don't share something. And when I began to listen more honestly to myself, I realized by holding stillness and silence, and then knowing when within I had something to contribute that is of value, that people could listen to more deeply. So be aware if you are a talker and often fill the empty spaces with chat. Listen more deeply within. You will know when you are moved to share something of value. Respect yourself and others. Respect always starts with self. And the more that I respect myself, both my strengths and my weaknesses, that I am choosing with compassion to transform. Compassion is a very important part of unconditional love. Then I can hold that sacred space and respect others. I may not agree with what they're saying or doing. However, when I see myself as a spiritual being and witness others as spiritual beings, I can then choose to look, is there even one quality within that person that I disagree with or have challenges with? Can I focus on that one aspect? Knowing that they too are a child of God. They are part of the human family. Listen with an open heart and open mind to others. This takes time, it takes practice. However, open heart and open mind in my experience means free myself from the judgments of myself and the judgments of the other. Have curiosity and listen, especially if it's someone I think I know well. Maybe there's something else about them that I can discover by listening, free from the judgment. And also be compassionate with self and others. Compassion always starts with myself, and then I can have more compassion for others. I'm going to show this diagram that I find is very helpful when looking at the contrast from moving from fear to love. And if you focus, and if you like, you can take a screenshot, although I know that this talk is being recorded. This is a very useful diagram. And if you look at on the far left, the comfort zone, the pink circle, the small circle, and that's the comfort zone where, think for yourself, where you feel safe and in control. When you're relaxed, you feel safe and nothing is disturbing you. Be aware of those boundaries of where that comfort zone can start to feel tight, or you have discomfort or distress. And then follow the arrow and move to the next zone, which is the fear zone. So when my boundaries are challenged, and when I'm moving from where I feel safe and in control, this is where I might start to express lack of confidence, find excuses, procrastinate, be affected by others' opinions. So be aware, other people's opinions are other people's opinions. Can I be strong enough inside with self-care and self-compassion that I do not allow other people's judgments or opinions to harm me mentally or emotionally? This is where the inner spiritual work will help to strengthen me. And then follow the arrow along and move to the yellow zone, the learning zone. So when I am becoming more comfortable in beginning to learn more about myself, being more compassionate with myself, being the gentle, compassionate, detached observer of self, then I can begin to be more a detached, compassionate observer of others. Then I start to stretch and move out my boundaries. And this is the yellow circle of the learning zone. I am more ready and capable of dealing with challenges, problems. I'm open to acquiring new skills. So this develops resilience. And if you think of this time, this last 18 months has been so challenging for all of us in so many ways. And yet reflect for a moment, what have you learned about yourself during this challenging, extended 18 months? What have you transformed within your life? What are you ready to let go of? So in order to bring in newness, I need to be open and ready to let go of what I decide no longer serves me well. So being my inner coach, my inner best friend, is what this spiritual journey is about, rather than being the inner critic. And then we move to the green circle, where it's the growth zone. Finding purpose. Do you know your purpose in life? Are you living your dreams? The dreams maybe you had as a small child of what you wanted to be or do when you grew up. Are you still allowing yourself to dream with more positivity, more enthusiasm, more creativity? For all of these are spiritual qualities and powers that are within each of us. And are you able to feel the fear and move through it rather than run away from it and move into the flight or fight or freeze, which I'd like to speak about again in a moment. So there's a lot to reflect on. Look back at the beginning, back at the pink circle, the comfort zone. See that in a spiritual way. When you recognize you are an eternal spiritual being with all these amazing spiritual qualities. And that when you use meditation, you take yourself out of that fear zone and you take yourself, sorry, I'm not sure what happened to the, and you take yourself, my apologies, and you take yourself to connect with the divine, with the ocean of love, the ocean of peace, the ocean of compassion. So another way to look at this diagram is to recognize and have that self-respect, becoming more authentic with yourself and then authentic with others. So you are transforming and moving from fear because you are connecting with God, with the divine. And you are therefore taking those spiritual powers of the power to face, the power to discern, the power to withdraw and transform. Now let's move on to fear. There are many different acronyms for fear. And the one that I'm most familiar with is, if you spell it going down, false evidence appearing real. It took me a long time to understand, what does that mean? And I'm going to give you the shortcut. It actually means virtual reality. So for a moment, think of a time, a day when you're experiencing so much stress, so much worry and fear. The mind is going round and round, and your energy is going down, and you feel so heavy. And all kinds of worries come up of what if this happens or that happens. Then check at the end of the day, have most of those fears come true? No. Most of them were in your imagination, in your head. So that fear was a message sent from the conscious mind of I, the soul, to the physical organ, the brain, that then released the chemicals, adrenaline and cortisol, that started speeding around the body when in the place of fear. And that causes a loss of energy and high anxiety. And if that happens every day, then it causes damage to the stress area within your body that is weakest and most vulnerable. So check within yourself. Where in your body do you first feel stress and fear? For me, it's in the stomach. Some it's the palpitation of the heart, or others it's hyperventilating through the breathing speeding up. Others it's a migraine or a neck pain or backache. So if I'm constantly in the fear and the adrenaline flowing day after day, I am causing damage to the body, and I am blocking the creativity and all the other spiritual qualities that we've been referring to. So how about we move from the fight or flight or the freeze, which is the learned human behavior to deal with stress, and move to the flow. And when I'm in the flow, that's when the love, the compassion, the gentleness is within me, where I'm open to creativity, where I can live my dreams, where I can live in an authentic way with myself and others. So you can make your own acronym. The one that I have created, I think with the help of a student who shared it, is with the flow: face it, let go of whatever old negative belief I'm holding on to, which may be I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, everybody's better than me. All of those false beliefs block me from being in the flow. So face whatever I need to face to see, is this really true? Is what this person is saying about me really true all of the time? Or is this old negative self-belief prophecy that I have about myself, is it really true that I'm no good, that I'm not lovable, or I'm a failure? Is that really true? Or can I look past that with the eyes of love and compassion and see my qualities, my specialities, and observe with compassion, and then develop the willpower of, rather than no, I can't, yes, I can. So I'm going to stop sharing now. My mouse looks like it's frozen at the moment, so let's see what will happen. Ah, there we are. And before I move on, I'd like to know, are there any questions, any observations that anyone has from what I've shared so far? Is that okay so far?
Susanna, you've shared quite a lot and it's been wonderful. And I think people are just trying to absorb it now.
It looks like a few questions coming up, Margaret.
Yeah, they're starting there now. If you want to have a look, you can see them.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. So can we say the false identity, the barriers in the circle? I'm not sure what the question is. That's from Ganesh. The false identity. Maybe you're referring to the first one, the fear. Yes, that would be definitely the false identity. So let me speak a bit about that, because that's great that you've highlighted that. So think of the time when each of you first started on the spiritual journey, when you began to choose to get to know who the authentic, real you is. And first, one of our first lesson in Raja Yoga meditation is to really explore all these identities that each of us have acquired. Think of a baby. When a baby is born, nowadays, most people know the gender of the baby before it's born. Well, let's go with when a baby is born, the gender it's given. Then there are specific names, be it for a boy or for a girl. Many cultures still believe dress the baby boy in blue, the baby girl in pink. And all of those roles are attributed. Then think of when you have siblings. You're a brother, you're a sister, you have nieces, you have nephews, you may have children, you may be a student, you may be an employer, employee, a friend. There are so many roles that are ascribed, let alone the ones of race, culture, religion, class. We could go on and on. And yet, on this spiritual journey, I am discovering I am so much more than those different roles. And when I come from this inner place of authenticity, honoring myself, I am an eternal spiritual being. I am love. I am light. I am eternal peace. I am wisdom. I have the ability to transform negative thoughts and feelings and intentions into positive thoughts, feelings, and intentions, so that my relationships and communication with God, with others, with myself are of a higher elevated consciousness. So this is the journey of reconnecting, rediscovering who I truly am. So another is asking, I fear about getting coronavirus. Is that a false evidence? There are some fears that are quite useful to have as long as I recognize underneath what that fear is about and then take action to transform it. So rather than I get caught in the fear that becomes the prison in the mind, and as I suggested, goes round and round in the mind and stops me living my truth. If it's a biological virus like corona, COVID, or any other virus, then it is wise to take precautions. And when I take the precautions, then I can live my life with those precautions of higher hygiene, be it taking the vaccination, wearing the mask, whatever it is that I have now realized will help protect me. At the same time, I do not allow it to stop me living a life of value. So it is important to identify, what is my fear? Is it real or is it virtual reality? If it's real, then how can I make a difference that I can live my life with integrity and safety, and yet not be in such fear that I stay hidden from life, knowing that the soul is eternal. Yet we need to take care of this body. It's our first costume. I need to honor it. I need to respect it. At the same time, live your life fully in the now, in the present. It's the gift. What else is there? So, can we use the flow letters to address the abusive behavior of a person, face their behavior, let go of their impacts, observe, and willpower to move on? That's a very deep question, and you've given some very powerful answers. I first would like to address the issue of abuse. Any form of abuse, be it physical abuse, mental, emotional abuse, is non-negotiable. So if anyone is experiencing being abused by another, then it is very important that you protect yourself and that you seek protection from others. So if it's living in an abusive home or with a partner, or maybe it's mental abuse at work, that one of the colleagues or boss is being mentally or emotionally abusive, then it's very important to report it and protect yourself. So fear, then, that adrenaline is to support you to move away from danger. That's the first thing. And if you need support, then there is definitely support out there. However, there's something else that's been raised here. And let me go back to that. And this is where what the person said, face their behavior, let go of their impact, observe, and willpower to move on. Now that's very powerful. That's really understanding that the more that I empower myself up with these spiritual powers, the power to withdraw, the power to face and have courage, the power to have self-respect, then I move away from being a victim and allowing someone else to be the persecutor or the oppressor. And I now make decisions from a place of inner power, inner peace, inner self-respect. And in this way, I then can see them in a very different light. And that then gives me clarity of mind through regular meditation to discern, what decision shall I take in this situation? Is it someone that's just out of their balance for the moment? And I choose not to take their sorrow. And I speak up for myself and give them another way to look at a situation. Or is this someone that is dangerous and I need to remove myself from that environment? So there are many levels to that. And there's another one around self-harming. So let me move down to that. If you have self-harming habits, is that fear or lack of love for yourself? I would say it's both. And the first thing is not to blame myself. Self-harming is when I have forgotten who I really am, where I've maybe been conditioned from early childhood or the relationship that I'm in, that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. All of that is false beliefs. And so as I start to choose to heal and affirm myself and use this spiritual knowledge and meditation and create a relationship with God as my best friend, then I start to discern what is self-harming. Is it those negative words I'm telling myself? Is it that I'm overeating or undereating? Is it that I'm using alcohol or illegal drugs to numb the mind, knowing that it's only creating more challenges for me? So as I start to become more gentle and caring and compassionate with myself, I then can make choices that will bring me more benefit, that take me on the healing path. And there are times when I need support from another. It may be a counselor, it may be the GP. So be honest with yourself, use the authentic communication, and then you can choose how to take your next steps. Okay, Susan saying you mentioned emotional, physical, and mental abuse. Is there such a thing as spiritual abuse, or is that something we do to ourselves? I don't know if Susan, if you would like to speak about that so I can be really clearer when you talk about spiritual abuse, what you are referring to.
Can you hear me, Masana?
I can indeed. Hi, Susan.
Yeah, hi there, Masana. Yeah, no, I'm just wondering because this is a discussion that's come up with someone recently, and I can see how other people can abuse you emotionally, physically, mentally, but somehow does it go deeper? Does all of that, those three things, really then cause abuse in a sense to the spirit, to the spiritual self? And so, or is that I'm allowing actually that to happen? So how do I protect myself from that? Because it's quite deep, isn't it? It's like those other things can touch the spiritual self, the emotion, physical, mental abuse, that can all impact on the spiritual self. So I was just wondering, is that something that is in our hands? Well, it's all in our hands, I suppose, isn't it, really? But how do you see that? Can it go that deep that it becomes a spiritual abuse? I mean, really, I suppose everything is going that deep, isn't it, really? And touching the soul, even if it's sometimes without us knowing, that we're not aware. So how do we protect ourselves?
So thank you for that. That's a very deep, powerful question, Susan. And yes, I agree. Everything starts with the soul. And and the soul, there are three main faculties of the soul that I know you're aware of, and I'm highlighting for everyone. There's the conscious mind, where we create all thoughts, feelings, intentions, and where our creativity is. There's the subconscious mind, which is everything that I'm not aware of at this time. It's where the memory of every moment that I've lived in this life. And for those of you that believe you have other births, and certainly in Raja Yoga meditation, we teach that we've had many births. And so every memory of each birth is recorded within the soul, in the subconscious mind. And there's the intellect, and the intellect is where we can power up with meditation, connecting with God, our spiritual powers. And I also talk about the heart of the soul, which I see is where the feelings are. So every thought that's generated from the conscious mind of the soul triggers a feeling. So if I'm in balance and in my peace and compassion, then I will feel happy and content. Equally, if I'm in my peacelessness, then I could have fear and discomfort. So when I look at the soul, each of us has many wounds of the soul. The heart of the soul has acquired many wounds from the main 5 negative vices, from anger, which under that has unmet needs, fears, and feelings, negative feelings, that the attachment to old negative beliefs I referred to that may have been part of my childhood, that I was told I was always stupid or that I wasn't good enough. That's in the background of the way that I am living at this time. The greed that takes me to feel that I want this, I want that I am never enough. When the truth is, I am more than enough. So the mental, the physical, the emotional pain that I feel is actually stemming from the pain that is there within the soul, where I have gathered many different experiences triggered by the negative vices of the anger, the lust, impure desires, attachment to old negative beliefs, or dependency on others to make me feel happy or sad. That is false. Excuse me a moment. For the truth is, I am more than enough. I am love. So the beauty of Raja Yoga meditation is that it supports me to heal the wounds of the soul that then help me to have more clarity of mind, that I can start to heal the mental, the emotional, physical accumulated wounds. So another is, Ganesh, can we say heart is a place where feelings are aligned with the intellect, mind-intellect conjunction? Yes, as I said, there's 3 main faculties of the soul: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the intellect. The intellect needs powering up with the spiritual powers that I've mentioned. And the heart is where the feelings are. And that's why it's so important to do regular practice of inner listening. Of how am I feeling? Have those regular conversations with yourself as your best friend, your inner coach. When you start to feel that tightness in your body, ask yourself, what's going on? What's causing the distress? And go deeper under it to look at what negative old belief, false belief, is causing you that distress, and then transform it into a positive. So if I believe that I'm not worthy, then take out the negative words, say, I am worthy. If I feel I'm not lovable, say, I am love. So it's you bringing in the truth that is who you truly are. I'm going to, let's take one more slide. So love is the gift of self. Love is the gift of self, is being that gentle, honoring, loving self. And I'm going to give you a couple of other thoughts that you could reflect on. So to bring more of this power of love, compassion, gentleness, and kindness within your conscious awareness, one simple thing is surround yourself with beautiful things. And I don't mean expensive things. I mean when you take your daily walk, if you're lucky to have a garden or a park nearby, can you bring back with you? Maybe it's a feather dropped by a bird. See it as a gift from a bird, or a daisy in the grass, or a buttercup, or a dandelion. Bring something from nature into your home and appreciate it. Really look at it. See it for what it is. It's a gift. Maybe it's light a candle when you meditate. That helps you to go into a relaxed, gentle, caring, nurturing state of being. Fill your mind with beautiful thoughts. Maybe it's play a positive, uplifting songs. Lucinda Drayton, another Raja yogi, writes beautiful music and sings these songs that are based on spiritual knowledge of both the ups and downs of the spiritual journey. So fill yourself with the yes, I can positive thoughts that take me away from some of the fears that block the energy and creativity. Have appreciation every day. Create a gratitude diary or journal. Every evening, give thanks for 5 things that have happened during the day. Was it that you were more peaceful? Was it that somebody made a cup of tea for you? Was it that you had a powerful experience in meditation? Was it that you were able to create more of a strong relationship with God as your best friend? So from the tiniest to the most profound, make a note of it. Stay in the now. The present is the gift. Every time I go back in the past, it usually brings up fear and sorrow. So keep bringing yourself back to this moment. This is the only way I can connect directly with God, is in this now. This is the confluence age, the age of making the impossible possible, first in my own life and then in the lives of others, by my way of being more calm, more peaceful, more gentle. In silence is one of the greatest gifts I can give to others and the world at this time. Look for the essence in everything. For instance, it's wonderful early morning is step outside and look at the dewdrops. I love to look at a dewdrop on a leaf. They look like little diamonds, or on a spider's web. So appreciate the essence. Learn how to, with practice, move from expansion to the essence, the seed where the power is. Because the more I focus within on what is of real value, then I can appreciate more. When I go into expansion and stories and judgments, then I've lost that inner balance. Gently being compassionate with myself is essential all of the time. Hugging myself when I'm feeling down. Close your eyes for a moment. Take your arms wide. Take them around you. Massage your shoulders, your neck. Take a few deep cleansing breaths. Maybe rest your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth. Feel the release of tension. Do this very often. It releases the endorphins, the happy chemicals that you, the soul, is telling the body to take care of you. Okay. So there's a few beautiful mentions here. Let me say, Sab says, I love God so much. I'm struggling to get that nearness with him. What can I do differently to get that closeness? The first is to love myself. It's to be gentle with myself. And if that word love does not feel comfortable, use the word gentle or kind. Start with where you are. Just as you with a friend are gentle and kind and listening, that is what you now give to yourself. So the gift you give to others, give to yourself first, all of the time. It is not selfish to put yourself first. It is essential at this time, because the stronger I become, then from inside out, I have that inner ability to be kind and gentle to others. Okay, Joyce is asking, how do you listen when the ones you are conversing with give you often silent treatment, not necessarily resentful, but just silent? Okay. Okay, there's silence and there's silence, yes? There's silence when I am choosing to go within and first listen to myself so I can bring myself back into inner balance with respect and gentleness. Then I create that sacred space to listen to others. There's silence when someone else is reflecting on maybe something I've said, and they go within as well. And then there's that other kind of silence that each of us will be aware of, where it's very heavy and it's laden with judgment without any words being said. And so the best thing is when I can be compassionate with myself, compassionate with the other, and know, is this the time to speak my truth? Or is this the time to maybe gently move away and send good wishes to that person? And maybe at another time when they are more open to having an honest discussion, you can explore. There's another one about the butterfly, and that's a very beautiful analogy to remember, that transforming from the caterpillar on the ground to a butterfly that flies. Think of the cocoon though. The cocoon is as I'm going through my healing process. We are all on a healing journey. So there are times when going within, regularly meditating, regularly journaling, writing about what's going on for myself, and finding creative ways to support myself spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally are essential. So withdrawing and taking that inner power from God is going to help me on the journey to fly and be light in the flow. There's another one, and I know we're coming close to the time for a meditation. Let me have this as, let's see. I have brought it up already a few minutes. Okay, so someone is saying that they find it frustrating when the person that they're dialoguing with, I guess it's somebody that they're in regular contact with, family or a friend, and the person is maybe not able or willing to have a deep dialogue. Many people are not able to, many people are not able to express themselves authentically. And that's why I shared with you how to be more authentic and add more to what does it mean for you to be authentic. And then look for somebody that maybe there's one other person in your life that you can start having more honest conversations with. What I did for many years was I practiced with somebody that I trusted enough and they trusted me. And they weren't my best friend, they weren't a family member, but once a week We would spend an hour together, and for half an hour, I would talk whatever was going on for me, and the other person would listen with compassion in silence. So I got it all off my chest, whatever was challenging. They didn't try and give me the answer because the wisdom is within. They gave me compassion and silence with gentleness. Equally, then, I spent half an hour listening to them with compassion and gentleness. That helped us to become so much stronger and more resilient. And so I really encourage you each to find somebody that you trust enough and have an agreement that you can have a weekly dialogue with and listen to each other without trying to rescue the other or to give the answer. I found then I had more space to be more authentic with my loved ones, even when I would find at times, oh, this is getting too much. I don't know about you, but my loved ones in my life, there have been 3 beautiful members of my family that are my biggest teachers. They teach me more patience, more tolerance, more compassion, first for myself and then for others. Okay, we're going over time. However, there's some wonderful things being said. How do you see the saying, where there is fear, there's no love, and where there is love, there is no fear? I agree totally, because fear is false evidence appearing real, whereas the energy of love, compassion, gentleness, and kindness is more powerful than anything else. And this is what our world needs. That's what each of us needs. So instead of looking outside of myself for somebody to love me, know you are love. Know you are gentleness, kindness, and compassion. And start using it within your thoughts, your life, in your creativity. Paint, draw, dance, move, sing. All the things. Give yourself permission to be who you are. Dream without fear. Let go of what others may think. Be yourself. Be your true self. I think, Margaret, it's time for a meditation, or do we have a few more minutes?
I think it's best if we could do a meditation because not everyone can stay longer than an hour.
Right.
So that would be nice if you could lead us into one.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. So I'd like you all to make yourself comfortable, relaxed, and yet sit up, alert and aware. You can either gently soften your eyes and maybe look at the picture behind my head and focus on the gold dot in the center so that you can stay focused. That's just helping you to go within. Or if you're more comfortable, close your eyes and relax. So take a deep cleansing breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, imagine you're breathing from the feet all the way up the legs, the abdomen, the chest to the top of the head. Allow the breath to cascade over your head and down your back, releasing any tension. So this is a meditation on love. Om Shanti. Welcome on this inner journey of exploring the heart of I, the soul. I breathe in and out, relax and let go. I take my attention away from this physical body, the temporary sacred temple for I, the soul. I take my attention to the center of the forehead. I go within. I breathe in deeply again and relax. Imagine you are sitting in a beautiful white room full of light and space. As you look around this inner room, this inner sanctuary, you begin to relax and let go more of any tension, fears, or worries. Experience waves of pure energy, of compassion, love, and gentleness flow towards and around you, enveloping you in a safe and nurturing cocoon. As you relax deeper and deeper into this safe, nurturing cocoon, you become aware of the presence of a gentle being who radiates peace, love, and harmony from their eyes. You experience relaxing more deeply and releasing a fear that has affected your well-being. With courage, look at this old fear. It may be in the form of a shape, symbol, color, or sound. See with inner vision. Understand the message it is sharing with you. Maybe an old negative belief or judgment of self that you are now ready to see with the eyes of eternal truth and know that it is no longer true and no longer belongs to you. You are now ready to release into the ocean of love. Experience yourself expanding, feeling freer and lighter. Your inner heart begins to heal and fill with love, compassion, and light. Your inner wisdom, joy, and creativity re-emerges. May you see the world with wonder. May your heart be kind and loving. May you be full of peace and meaning. May your heart be touched with wisdom. Embrace the heart within. Embrace the love within. When dreams are pure, then God will be your guide. When you listen to the inner silence, you are drawn to inner truth. Embrace the light within. Keeping that awareness of who you truly are, the eternal light of love, peace, compassion, and harmony. Gently open your eyes. Come back to this present moment in the gathering. Om Shanti. Namaste. Thank you.